Picture this for a second. You've just lost absolutely everything. Your home, your wealth, your entire status in society. And the worst part? You didn't lose it fairly. You were completely cheated out of it in a rigged game, and now you are being forced into a long, grueling exile. So how would you react? Would you scream? Would you lash out? Maybe break down completely? Well, today we're looking at an ancient text that answers this exact question, and it does so in the most unexpected and powerful way imaginable.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, as we dive into this incredible excerpt from the epic Mahabharata, we're not just going to read it as some dusty historical myth. Instead, we're decoding the exact moment the Pandavas are sent into exile, treating it as a masterful psychological survival kit. It is literally a brilliant guide on how to maintain your dignity, your strategy, and honestly, your sanity in the face of absolute crushing loss.
To make this super dense and rich text easy to digest, we're breaking it down into 5 phases. A tense and shameful farewell, Kunti's fate, the Pandava dream team, ancient wisdom and teachers, and finally, blessings for the exile.
Let's dive right in with Section 1, a tense and shameful farewell. Okay, so set the scene in your mind. We're in the grand court of the Kurus. The infamous dice game is over. Yudhishthira, the leader of the Pandavas, has lost it all. He's standing right in the middle of the room, preparing to say his goodbyes to the very elders and cousins who just watched him fall. And this brings us to a wildly intense irony. Look at the stark contrast here. On one hand, you have the victors, the guys who just won an entire kingdom. But how are they acting? The text tells us they are overcome with shame. They're completely silent, paralyzed, really. They can't even look Yudhishthira in the eye. On the flip side, you have the defeated. Yudhishthira is polite, he's honoring his elders, and he's calmly saying his goodbyes. The true power dynamic in that room? Completely flipped.
Yudhishthira just looks around this completely silent, guilty room and says, "I bid farewell unto all the Bharatas, all of you, and returning again I shall see you." He individually acknowledges everyone, his grandsire Bhishma, Drona, Vidura, and yes, even the sons of Dhritarashtra, who literally orchestrated his ruin. And there is zero bitterness in his voice, just this stoic, chilling confidence of, "I will see you again."
Moving on to Section 2, Kunti's fate. Before our heroes can even cross the threshold into those dangerous woods, they have a massive strategic vulnerability to handle, securing Pritha, Yudhishthira's mother, also known as Kunti. This is where the wise elder Vidura steps perfectly into that classic mentor role. Notice the highly practical logic he uses. He completely removes emotion from the equation. He points out that Pritha is a princess by birth. She's delicate, getting older, and entirely unsuited for the harsh reality of the woods. She is accustomed to happiness. So Vidura simply declares that she must stay behind and live respected in his own abode, where he can guarantee her safety. And the Pandavas, they don't argue. They don't let emotional attachment cloud their judgment for even a second. They immediately reply, "Thou art our uncle, and therefore, like as our father, we also are all obedient to thee." This right here is a total masterclass in delegation and trust. They recognize Vidura as a respected superior and instantly accept his command, locking him in as their trusted guide for the crazy psychological journey ahead. Which brings us to Section 3, the Pandava Dream Team. With their mother safe, Vidura focuses back on the Pandavas. He knows they're heading into a brutal environment, so he gives them a massive psychological boost. He tells Yudhishthira, "One that is vanquished by sinful means need not be pained by such defeat." Think about how incredibly liberating that is. He's basically telling them, do not internalize the shame of a rigged game. They didn't lose because they were weak. They lost because the other side cheated. Their self-worth, it should stay entirely intact. To really hammer this home, Vidura lists out their individual strengths, and it reads literally like assembling the ultimate role-playing game dream team. You've got the Nanjaya, ever victorious in battle. Bhimasena, the heavy-hitting slayer of foes. Nakula, the gatherer of wealth, which, let's face it, is going to be vital for survival. Sahadeva brings those crucial administrative talents to keep them organized. Damya is their spiritual guide, foremost in the Vedas. And Draupadi is conversant with virtue and economy, keeping their resources and morale perfectly in check. Every single person brings a specific, necessary skill. They are lacking absolutely nothing. But here's the real secret sauce.
Vidura reminds them that their ultimate asset isn't just a list of individual skills, it's their unbreakable unity. They're deeply attached to one another. They actually find delight in just seeing each other. Enemies can't separate them, and despite losing an entire kingdom, they remain deeply contented with one another. Vidura makes it clear, with this level of unity, even Sakra himself, the king of gods, wouldn't stand a chance against them.
All right, on to Section 4, Ancient Wisdom and Teachers.
So their morale is boosted and their physical survival is mapped out. Now Vidura equips Yudhishthira with intellectual armor. He recounts this amazing chronological timeline of Yudhishthira's education. Instructed on the mountains of Himavat by Marasavarni, taught in Varanavada by Krishna Divapayana, learned on the cliff of Brigu by Rama, and educated on the Drishadwati by Sambhu. Vidura is reminding him, you are not a victim. You are the most highly educated, spiritually prepared leader in the world. Your mind is already built for this.
Of course, he tells him to abandon none of those past lessons. But learning doesn't just stop because you've been exiled. Vidura assigns him new teachers for the road ahead, Narada and the priest Damya. They are going to continue his education in the matters of the next world right there in the woods.
And finally, Section 5, Blessings for the Exile. This is frankly the most epic part of our whole explainer. Vidura has handled the logistics, the psychology, and the intellect. Now, he's handing out cosmic elemental armor. What's so fascinating is how Vidura maps specific moral controls to the gods, treating virtues like literal weapons, gifted from the divine. From Indra, Yudhishthira is to resolve to win victory. From Yama, the god of death, he gets the power of controlling wrath. From Kuvera, the blessing of giving and charity. And from Varuna, the power to control all passions. Vidura is making a huge point here. True power isn't about wearing a crown. It's about absolute mastery over yourself.
Then, he instructs Yudhishthira to literally channel the environment around him. He's told to absorb the gladdening power from the moon, the sustaining power from water, the sheer forbearance and patience from the earth itself, energy from the solar disk, and pure physical strength from the winds. He might not have a palace anymore, but Vidura is showing him exactly how to turn the wilderness into his own ultimate fortress.
Vidura wraps up this incredible speech with a really touching send-off, highlighting the ultimate moral shield, a perfectly clean conscience. No one can say that ye have done anything sinful before. Because their past is completely clean and their minds are sharply focused, Vidura fully expects them to return in safety, crowned with success. Just imagine the visual right here. Yudhishthira has calmly accepted this massive download of practical, psychological, and cosmic advice. He simply replies, so be it. He bows low one last time to his elders, Bhishma and Drona, turns his back on the only life he ever knew, and steps out into the unknown to begin his journey.
The Mahabharata doesn't just tell us a story about ancient kings and exiles. It gives us a brilliant, actionable blueprint for surviving our own devastating setbacks. So I want to leave you with this thought. If you are facing your own sudden exile, your own darkest moment, which of these elemental strengths would you choose to carry with you? Forbearance, energy, wrath control? Think about it. Let this ancient wisdom guide your own strategy, and I'll see you next time.